Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Beyond Second Cognition. I'm Beall. The topic of this discussion is the mind virus, explaining mistakes in interpretation. The concept of the mind virus made its way into the public awareness through the 1992 book published by Jack Forbes called Columbus and Other Cannibals. Forbes was Native American and had a specific agenda he was working towards, particularly an anti-capitalist agenda, or shall we just call it socialist and be done with it. But his projection is that what he called the Wetiko or Wendigo virus was an infection that the Europeans brought to the West, which is utter fallacy. But that was the gist of his thrust in explaining the virus. In 2013, Paul Levy published his book, Dispelling Wetiko, and he was wise enough to draw some on Don Juan's work and see that the Wetiko virus that Forbes coined or utilized from Algonquin traditions and Native American lore, that it was a space-borne virus that infected humanity. But Levy made a similar misconception like Forbes did, saying that this virus was the root of evil, thinking that all things negative had to do with the virus, and anything positive, well, that wasn't a virus infection. In both of these cases, neither of these gentlemen saw the virus present in themselves. They did not see the aspects of the virus for what it is. Now, for my part, I figured out the virus on my own, which is why I coined the term HAPIM, the hacker program in your mind, to explain the virus. And it wasn't until I had already figured this out that either Levy or Forbes' material even came to my attention. The fact is the virus exists. And in Levy's book, Dispelling Wetiko, he illustrated much of the symptomatology of the virus, but he drew heavily on the psychological speculative research of Carl Jung in reference to Jung's theories on the shadow self and the collective unconscious. Jung was close, I'll give him that. But where Levy's failure occurred was in believing that shamanism or dream work or whatever it wound up that he was selling to the public was going to be the cure to the virus. So in order to trying to cure the virus, he wound up leading people right back into the mystical, supernatural wherewithal that the virus relies on to hide itself. He also failed to see that the virus controls all of our emotions, not just the negative ones. So he was mostly correct, but his solution went wide of the mark. The reason I'm bringing this up now is because I've looked at some of the videos that were posted on Wetiko about the time that he released his book, and this was, almost 5 years ago now. And it illustrates to me the short memory span of people, and it goes back to the piece that I did on the news. People look at whatever's new and then they have a short memory span, the memory of a gnat, and wander off to do something else. And this is evident by the length of time that has elapsed since those videos were first posted and the last comments that were placed on them. Humans are always looking for the new thrill, and they're looking for the new cure. Well, Levy didn't really provide any cures. He resorted to a mystical solution which is not going to cure anything. It's just going to keep people wrapped up in supernaturalism. But it made his name and sold him a lot of books, and nobody got cured because it's too hard. Everybody's looking for a magical solution. They want the magic pill that's going to make their ills go away. And if there's a touch of supernaturalism involved in it, well, hey, what the hell? That makes it even more fun and exciting. But the fact of the matter is, there's not any quick fix for this virus or the symptoms of it. The virus itself is eradicated, but the symptomatology, the residual habits, is what you are all carrying, which is what we are trying to teach people to overcome and override through this psychological process of house cleaning. Unfortunately, for those that are looking for a quick fix and have the attention span of a gnat, they're not going to stick with this work. You know, it's just another flash in the pan, another fad that they'll listen to for a couple of 3 weeks, and then they'll get bored and tired and go look for something new to fill the void for the quick fulfillment, which is not going to happen. This is a long, ongoing process. This is going to take you years at a minimum. And most people just simply don't have the focus or stamina to stay with this stuff. Now, granted, a lot of you are going to progress through this faster than we did, because there's actually somebody that's hacked down all the underbrush to show you the clear path to get through it and tell you how to get through it, which, you know, Levy never figured out. I mean, resorting to supernatural, shamanistic, so-called healing methods is twaddle, and it didn't heal anybody, which is probably why some of the interest in what he presented faded away, because he couldn't produce results for what he was selling. And I'm not disparaging Levy. He's a smart man. I mean, he figured out much of the virus symptomatology. He just went down the wrong road where offering a cure is concerned. So I kind of wanted to put this out there, you know, because some people have put comments on the thread, well, it sounds like Wetiko. Yeah, well, it's basically the same thing, but the methodology to cure the ails of the virus are not going to be found in shamanism. They're going to be found in your hard psychological work, facing the illusion and tearing it down. And most people just don't have the gumption to do it. They want the quick fix, they want the excitement, they want something new. They want something to make their life all right with a simple wave of the wand or taking that magic pill. And this process is not going to deliver that. It is very psychologically discomforting. It's going to challenge everything you think you know. And people don't want to do that. They don't want to face reality. They would rather live in the dream, live in the illusion, than do the hard work required to alleviate themselves of this virus infection. But I wanted to give a little bit of historical background on this whole mind virus thing and where I come into it versus where they came into it. And in all honesty, I didn't read either one of their works until very late in the game. You know, someone told me, well, this sounds like the Wetiko virus. You ever heard of it? And I says, nope. So they sent me a book and I read it. And Levy was real close to the mark. I'll give him credit for that. I'll give him kudos for that. But when he took that left turn into supernatural solutions, that's where he went afoul of the whole healing process. You're not going to heal this stuff dealing with Jungian psychology, which was in most cases metaphysical speculation. Jung also got very close. He sniffed around and at least tripped to the idea of the collective unconscious, but he never developed on how to cure it. He figured it was an inherent genetic circumstance in human nature, which was also totally fucking wrong. But for those genuinely looking to cure themselves of this virus infection, we're the only place in town that's offering the workable, viable solutions. And those that are going through or have gone through this process, they know we're not talking malarkey. What we do works, but it's not easy. You know, if you want to be rid of these virus symptoms, then this is the only process in town that offers viable, repeatable results. And, you know, if you want to chase mystical solutions and think it's going to fix you, then good luck with that. You know, but if you want to be cured of the virus and if you want to be able to step into reality beyond the illusion and the quick fixes and the supernatural solutions and the magic pills, then this is where you need to be putting your attention, provided you can keep your attention on the process long enough to follow through. Ultimately, the responsibility lies on your shoulders as to what you want to do and what you don't want to do. If you want to be irresponsible and flighty and maintain the attention span of a gnat, then you're not going to get very far. And if you don't want to hear this message because it goes against the grain of your magical illusions and your quick fix desires, well, I'm sorry. All I'm doing is telling you the truth. You know, it's up to you to either accept it or not. I just wanted to put this historical background out there so people have an idea of where the difference resides. And for those of you doing the work, stay the course. Don't give up on yourselves.